Violence against women have become all too commonplace, but one area that's less well documented is the abuse that some women face at the hands of doctors and other medical workers during pregnancy and birth. This can range from feeling pressured into a procedure all the way to being violently harmed. 1 in 5 women say that they were mistreated during maternity care, according to a recent study from the US Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. I'm here in California, where I've been speaking to patients and doctors who've told me that this problem is widespread in the US healthcare system. A warning that some of the images in my report may be upsetting.
Pass it to me really quick.
An after-school kick-around is a far cry from the trauma of Rio's entry into the world. His mother, Kimberly Turbin, was left severely injured and traumatised by a procedure administered against her will by the doctor delivering him.
He walks in with scissors in his hand and says that he's going to do an episiotomy. I said, why? We haven't even tried. He said, why? Because I am the expert here. That's why. I said, okay. So then he comes towards me with scissors again, and I say, no, don't cut me.
Kimberly's sister and mother were filming the birth, so the whole incident is caught on camera.
Okay, yeah. You can go home to it. You go to Kentucky.
He never told me that there was an emergency. The nurses never told me there was something wrong. I had all the monitors on. There was no alerts anywhere. So to me, I was just like, well, why? It was a natural reaction for me to ask why. And I wasn't necessarily like contesting him. I was just curious as why did I need to be cut if I just got here?
That moment when you've just given birth to your first child is like no other, but how was it for you?
I wouldn't know, because he took it away from me. I didn't know the feeling of happiness. I completely shut down. He completely took the whole moment away from me. I couldn't even speak after.
The experience gave her lifelong injuries, extreme pain and PTSD, and she struggles to afford the ongoing treatment she needs.
I can work out a little bit here and there if I do pelvic floor therapy. Pelvic floor therapy with insurance still costs me around $6,500 in 1 year. Yeah, so it's really expensive to treat the conditions that Dr. Abazi left me with.
The United Nations has recognized obstetric violence as a violation of human rights, but the term is subjective and research on the topic is still scarce. Kimberly's story is harrowing, but thankfully those types of extreme cases are relatively rare. But I'm on my way to meet a woman who suffered a much more subtle but more common form of prejudice. When she fell pregnant with her first child, Diana Hinken knew that she wanted her labour to be as natural as possible.
We got to the hospital, and I remember the first thing the midwife said to me was, if you don't progress in the next hour, I'm going to give you morphine. And to me, it was such a shock to arrive. It feels so unwelcome.
She went on to have a cesarean section. So everything you didn't want?
Everything I did not want. Every single thing on the menu I did not want, I got.
What effect did it then have on you afterwards?
I remember that when I got home, I just felt so empty. I just felt clueless. I loved this beautiful baby. She was so beautiful and she was perfect. She was healthy. She started breastfeeding right away. My body started healing really well. We could go on walks, but mentally, I just was a disaster. The only thing that really made me feel good was to see my doula. I'm gonna cry. It's been 15 years.
More than a third of women have experienced mistreatment around the time of childbirth, according to a WHO multi-country study published in 2019. Younger, less educated women were most at risk. But Dr. Emiliano Chavira says that many of his colleagues don't believe there's a problem.
One concept that was expressed to me once by another OB in our department is, I understand, Dr. Chavira, you think you're explaining risks of things to the patient, but sometimes people don't really understand what they're getting into and the decisions they're making. And, for me, that comes down to it's misogyny in the sense that you are saying that women do not really have the capacity to understand information and make a decision of their own.
He says there are few incentives for practitioners to change the way they behave.
The forces that create this reality are very, very powerful, and they're economic, and they're medical, legal, and they're many other things. You don't really get rewarded for the education. You don't get compensated for the time that you spend teaching people, telling them what their options are. When I have conversations about autonomy and ethics with my colleagues, they're bored. Their eyes glaze over. This is not interesting to them. It's just hard for me to imagine some kind of real organic change that bubbles up from within obstetrics.
Maternal health advocate Dawn Thompson says that's why educating women is vital.
We've got to keep, I started a TikTok channel and I'm at, nearly 40,000 followers at this point, and doing videos every day and just trying to talk about it, because that's how we do it. Just keep talking and keep talking and keep talking until we reach enough people that the system says, the system has no motivation right now to change. It's working just fine for the system. The system, and there's some people who would say the system's not broken, it was built this way, right? But it's just gonna take enough people to just keep pushing the ball uphill until we get to the top and it goes over.
That's also Kimberly Turbin's goal. 10 years on, she's focused on the joys of motherhood, not the pain, and on trying to make sure that other women don't have to go through the same trauma that she did.